Capricorn, this is your reading for this full moon in Virgo, happening 6th, 7th, thereabouts. Just a day away, really. General thoughts on this lunation cycle this time round. Feels a bit like a sobering moment. Feels a bit like, a point where we get to see quite clearly what maybe we need to fine tune if we had particular intentions around that last new moon or prior to that we are able to see where we need to maybe alter or tweak something in order for it to really take off as the month comes on and moves on. So general thoughts there on that, and there is a collective reading. If you haven't seen it yet, go and check it out. And any other readings whose titles stand out for you, or whatever if you are aware of where your ascendant, moon, Venus and Jupiter are in, what signs they're in, check those readings out too, and take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So on that note, Capricorn, let's get into it. Let's see what the storyline is. We've got one card out there at the moment. That is the Three of Wands, and let's see. Wow. So Three of Wands, we've kind of been on this process on a kind of journey, really, that is driven. We're talking fire, so it's driven by our will. We've been on this. There's nothing really like. We're bringing, things are starting to move quite quickly, I do think. And we are bringing things, because of our ability to action, we are bringing things into form around us by our action. We then have the Ace. Oh, I didn't show you, did I? So that is called Virtue in the Thoth deck. We have then the Ace of Cups. So we've got a large web, I guess, or what I see in that particular Ace in this reading is a vibrational web. So, there's a lot of people sending, or you're aware of it, like whether they're in your vicinity, whether they're not, you do feel, aces are gifts that we give form to, But I do see that as a sort of reverberation of, those connections that you have with others, whether they're with you, whether they're not. They're very strong and they're very supportive, because it's like just seeing that circus, with the net. There's a net. That may be, there's a net, yeah, and it's really strong and very flexible. It's an emotional net. Four of Discs comes up next. We go through and clarify, if you haven't tuned in before, with a few other decks. Did I say Wands? Four of Discs. It's a strong structure. There is one way in, there is one way out, and it's through Malkut. It's through the physical world. This is a structural card. It's a strong building of sorts. And as I said, one way in, one way out, and through the physical, tangible world. It's as if something's saying to you, okay, so we need to earth this out. We're earthing it out. We're acting it out. We're working it out. If that makes sense. Aquarius, Capricorn, Eight of Discs, working hard, working it out. Working hard. We want to protect these beautiful little flowers of new growth, developments, perfecting something. These eventually are offered out there to the world, and we want to make sure in this card, we see how well protected they are at the moment. It comes into its own, when we enter that Nine of Discs. So we're looking at the 8 here. This is the build up to that Nine of Discs level of, independence and all of that, where these little flowers start to obviously develop seed and can grow new flowers from those flowers or from that tree. So we want to make sure when they are presented out there into the world, because it's about hard work and perfecting something, that they can sustain themselves or be received in the way that was intended, I suppose. So let's go through and clarify. Go through and clarify here. 3 of Wands for Capricorn. I do see in this 3 of Wands, because we've got the Lovers, it could include someone else in your life. Obviously, there could be a burgeoning new relationship. But I kind of see it as a, in the Lovers, we're looking at choice. We're looking at choice. We're also looking at a balancing of the dual nature, or a kind of synthesizing process of opposites. So a rebalancing of opposites, extremes, polarities, dualities, whatever way you want to look at it. There's a rebalancing happening in here in this movement of the 3 of Wands, in the development of will, of bringing thought into form. You're creating a new balance somewhere in here, Capricorn. Ace of Cups, this wonderful gift of love, again, that we give form to. We see it in the people around us and the people in our world and all of that. Ace of Cups, we have the Sun, beautiful, vital, Leo-like card. It really is about a new vitality and enjoyment. There is vitality and enjoyment here. There's progression. There's new stuff coming through. It's really, really positive. With that, we have the High Priestess. It's really working from your intuitive guidance. Is going. Is really getting. Is really getting the. We're not getting, or should I say it? We're not getting distracted by externals here. There's a large level of support, like with that Ace of Cups. There's a net. I mean, we're, just seeing that circus net, the safety net. There's actually, in some decks, representations, we pass through that veil of the High Priestess into the zone of really high octane sort of intuition, and I think that's what's giving you a level of flight, a level of movement. It's part of that. It's part of you trusting what is your intuitive voice, and it comes from a place that is within you, that you can trust. 4 of Discs, Capricorn. It's strong. It's a strong structure. can we, so it's kind of slightly confusing here. It's a strong structure, in some decks that 4 of discs is sort of saying to us, can we allow something to be let go of in order to keep things moving? Because if our channel of action is simply through the physical, the tangible world, it is limiting. It's kind of limiting. There are other things in play here. And so can we widen that channel? And we are. You are, Capricorn, whatever's going on here. These are very general readings. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But there are other things at play. But what there is really a wonderful thing here is that balance between action, will, getting things moving in the physical world, and also drawing in other things that we don't necessarily see that are part of our place in this world. I say that we've got the 5 of Swords. This is a card of maybe feeling like we've let ourselves down in some way, or maybe we're deciding to do things in a slightly different way for ourselves. But we also have Temperance, this wonderful card of alchemy. Look, there's a similarity with this Temperance card and the timing, the alchemical process with the sort of Lovers here. That there's a merging and a mixing and matching, but it does have its own time. This is just par for the course. There is that divine timing. It's a really nice feeling. It's a nice balanced feel to this reading. And then we've got the 8 of discs. Working, perfecting. How Virgoian is that? Very Virgoian. Perfecting. We've probably got a few too many here, but there's something quite experimental within this too. As I say, perfecting something. You want to offer this new work, this new something out there into the world. All the efforts of that. You want it to be received in the best possible way. You want it to come into being formed in the best possible way. We've got the 7, a card of assessment, 7 of Wands. We don't want to get... look, there's only so much that we have control over, isn't there? And so, 7 of Wands, standing up for your integrity, standing up for what you believe in. And we sort of need to make sure we've got both shoes on, that we're on solid ground, that we're not sort of on uneven ground here. There's something about this that there's a, isn't there? There's a fine line between protecting something for a period. I mean, I'm talking about work, protecting something and then wanting it to get received in a particular way when you send it off out there into the world. This is a card of working hard. We don't necessarily have total control over that though. And when it reaches its point of fruition and ventures out there into the world, whether we put it out there or whatever happens, it takes on, it's got a life of its own from that point. So we don't necessarily, we protect and support. We can't have total kind of control really over that. We've got this experimental energy of the Page of Wands. This is an adolescent mind could be someone in your life, could be aspects of yourself, because I see a Capricorn sort of venturing in a particular direction that's just going really, really well. And it's sort of maybe you're drawing more in from areas that you don't necessarily consciously would consciously describe or be able to describe. I don't know why I'm getting that, but it's sort of like like you know it, but you don't see it. You know something, but you can't see it, if that makes sense. Then we have the Page of Cups. Capricorn, this is a small offering. It is a small development offering gesture, but it is still a gesture. It is still an offering. It is still a development. So that is good. Let's get a Brian Froud Pixie and Fairy for you, Capricorn. We're looking at the Lovers and the Three of Wands. This is a transformation. Well, what more can you say? I mean, we get death coming out. So this is the death. So it's a transformation. We get to go behind that veil maybe, and behind wherever we switch, we're putting on a new veil. We're taking off on a new journey. We're taking a bite out of a new apple here. This is a shift, a change. And it requires, like most change does, whether it's an atmosphere or in a chemicalization within the body or in the digestive tract, change requires release. And we see that in Glominous Doom. We see this sort of the rising bubbles of whether it's digestion, whether it's fermentation. We release it. It passes through us. And it passes through us and we release something. Because we're making room for more stuff, for new things, is what I get from that. Let's have a look at the High Priestess with the Sun and the Ace of Cups. The Sun, could we have any more? Yeah, we can. We've got the Daniel Craig card. We've got gorgeous Solus, the solar force, the great, you could say masculine force, the great fire. I love that card. I really love that card. Power in the light, with the light. Solar force and female force. We've got it all there in one, Capricorn. Can we look at that timing? There's a timing here for that Four of Discs and the Five of Swords and the Temperance card. There's somewhere in here is a new flexibility, but there's also a new perspective on what connections are to you, or what what your I think I mean, admittedly, this is kind of confusing, Capricorn, but we've got the Pook, which is a shape-shifting card. There are some very positive aspects to shape-shifting energy where things around us, we only have a certain level of control, which is usually just over ourselves and how we react or act or whatever. So that shape-shifting energy can be quite positive because it allows us to morph and mix and match, morph in whatever environment we happen to find ourselves. So it's very helpful. And we have the singer of connection. There's a great flexibility here, even though we start here with that in that line with the Four of Discs, But it's like anything, we need to start with a solid foundation or a solid structure in order to work our magic from that point, as it were. Let's look at this. The Seven of Wands, the Eight of Discs, Pixie and Fairies. Probably got a few too many here, maybe. Something that you thought you had lost, Capricorn, returns. We've got he himself, which is like a little creature of the forest, very earthy, very Virgo card. So maybe, something is illuminated at this full moon in Virgo at this time for some Capricorns out there. We have Ilb the Retriever, this very faithful companion. Something returns that you thought you had lost, but this has been kicked off before now. Again, we've got a alchemical card. There's a whole process here that's going on, isn't there? We've got Nellis the alchemist. The domino of this, it's like something has had to play out. And the domino of it was flicked quite a while ago, and it's playing out. It's a wonderful, there's something really new and fresh here for Capricorns. We've got just two last cards, and I will pull an animal card this week. Look, we've got Singer of the Chalice, which is literally an Ace of Cups here. This is mother love. It's divine sort of watery goodness on every level. We're talking of love here, and the electric nature, as I was saying about this sort of the connections as webs, as sort of vibrational connectors, really, that exist between people. We see here with the honesty card and that green, it's all about that vibratory nature of the heart center and this honest expression. We see it, honesty, honest expression, heartfelt, without guile, without defense, without anything. It's a clear, true expression. And then we have the beautiful camel in the night with the new moon there, with all the stamina it needs for any journey. And I think Capricorn, you're one of those earth signs that has all that storage capacity of stamina that keeps going and going and going. On that note, thanks for joining me. Check out any other readings whose titles stand out, or that you're looking for your moon, ascendant, Venus, Jupiter, if I didn't say that at the beginning. So on that note, Capricorn, ka kite, and thank you. Enjoy this beautiful full moon in Virgo.